Hey guys, it's Jack's Undead. So I want to make a video talking about Fallout 5 rumors being talking about it being greenlit. So I think that it definitely is true. That's what a lot of people are saying. I think that what they're doing is the Elder Scrolls 6 is starting to get toward the end of development. So what they're going to do is they're going to start a small team that's going to then start on Fallout 5. It's not going to be like the main focus of the studio. Obviously, they're still doing a little bit with Starfield. I think kind of like this Game Rant article is talking about. I think it's kind of the end of Starfield. It's not. It hasn't panned out too well. It's not been very popular, and I don't think there's a way to like fix the game to make it likable for all the problems that it has. I think the problems that it has are just always going to exist, and I don't think they can like just rebuild the game to fix those issues because that's what it would take. That being said, though, I want to talk about one of the issues that Fallout 4 had, and a little bit Fallout 76. They made it a little bit better in Fallout 76, but Fallout 4 really had this problem. Nobody wants to see these stupid looking orc guns in Fallout 5, okay? I think we are well past this. Everyone hated this. This was awful. This was a really dumb idea. And like let me go ahead and argue my point really quick about why modern guns belong in Fallout and why I want to see a lot more like modern guns in Fallout 5. That's like one of the main things that like a lot of people end up modding into their Fallout 4 or whatever game anyway is more modern guns because that's what people like. That's what people want to see, and that's what would technically make sense. Fallout doesn't happen, or like the nuclear bombs dropping doesn't happen until the year I think 2077. I'm pretty sure. Let me check it real quick. Yeah, exactly. October 23rd, 2077. You can't see the whole thing, but it just says in the Fallout universe, the bombs fell on October 23rd, 2077, making the start of the Great War. Blah 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 blah. You know the rest. So it's not only like, well, do we have all of the firearms that we have right now, but we also have a lot more of those guns. So that also gets rid of the whole debate about like, oh, we run out of guns and all this stuff. Like, dude, we still have firearms from like the 1800s that still function, that like work great. I think we have like really old, really early firearms that have been shot a lot that still would work. Like the metals don't just like dissolve over time or anything like that. Yeah, you can wear them down, but they're still going to work. And with, continuing manufacturing up to the point of 2077, there would be so many firearms on Earth that you could give like every human being like probably like 20 guns and you'd still have some left over. So I don't want to hear the whole debate about like, oh, there wouldn't be as many guns anymore. They'd have to build them, and that doesn't make sense. It already doesn't make sense right now. Pretty much, like there would still be a lot of guns well into the future, and plus, like people like the Brotherhood of Steel would be manufacturing firearms and like other factions and stuff like that. So that debate just makes no sense. Looking at the other games as well already, Fallout 3, a game that Bethesda already made, had some pretty decent modern guns. Now, look, their AKs have been pretty. Some of their guns have been pretty whack. They got to stop schwacking the AK in every game that they make. Even in Starfield, a game that's supposed to be like in the future, they couldn't even do the AK right in that game. They still had to make it a stockless, like bunky, weird, like just ridiculous looking AK. I hated that thing. I don't own Starfield. I've just watched playthroughs of it, or at least like what I was able to like keep my mind watching through until my ADD took over and I was like, all right, screw this crap, which was really only about like like an hour or two. Honestly, oh man, if I was playing it maybe I would get through a bit longer, but yeah, it's just not very good. Anyway, I don't want to talk about Starfield very much, as you can see. But yeah, there was a ton of like actual guns that were popular and existed for civilian purchase at the time in Fallout 3. As you can see, you got like the G3 or whatever model this would be. That's what I always call it. The 10 millimeter is kind of its own gun in itself, but you can see, some of the inspirations, if you will, about like some modern guns. And it fits well into the universe. I actually do like the different models of the 10 millimeter gun. Obviously, it existed in the first game, and 10 millimeter is a real round, and we do have real guns that shoot 10 millimeter. I need a 10 millimeter. I don't have one yet. And then you got the laser pistols, all that stuff, laser rifles, the hunting rifle, which is just a bolt action rifle. Why it's got straps and crap all over it, I don't know. There are some rifles that are like that in real life because people just do stuff like that, but you know, whatever. So I really think that they could do a lot more with this. Even going back to Fallout 1's guns, like these are just some of the handguns. These all look like modern guns, even the ones that are like funky and like Blade Runner looking esque. This is kind of a Star Wars looking gun, like one of those like 80s future ray gun type deals. This is almost like a Warhammer gun. This is a Mauser. This is a Desert Eagle. This is just a revolver. This is the 10 millimeter. Oh, that's like a revolver pistol. It's pretty neat. This is just another Desert Eagle, another revolver. This is, I think, supposed to be... I don't know what that is, but I think this was, like... I think that's based on a real gun, kinda, at least. Is this a picture of guns that were all in Fallout 1? I didn't actually play it. Weapons for Classic Fallout by Red 888. So yeah, I guess all these guns were in the original Fallout. You got a Tommy gun. Some like laser Tommy gun, it looks like. This is just like a Winchester. Kitted up Winchester. Laser rifle. These are like just artwork that people drew, you know, for some of the guns. These are all modern guns. These all have existed. Is the 10 millimeter SMG from Fallout 1? That's kind of just like a bolted together gun, though. But whatever. Yeah, see, crap like this, I don't ever want to see this kind of crap again in a Fallout game. I don't ever want to see this shovel stock missing, you know, whatever. It has it here, but I don't ever want to see this in Fallout again. Please stop doing this to the AK. It is absolutely abysmal, and I hate it. Stop doing that. I want to see a good normal AK that I can upgrade with like modern cool attachments. I basically want, so Tarkov came out a while ago, and it has a ton of systems in it that frankly would work really, really well in a Fallout game, especially because they already have like crafting now. They have weapon upgrading, modifications, all that stuff. They started putting that in like, I think it was New Vegas that first started that. But you could also kind of build some guns and weapons and whatever in Fallout 3, if I remember correctly. So basically what I'm trying to say is I want to see, because this is what they should have done. Like, Bethesda really hasn't upgraded or updated their gameplay mechanics since like Oblivion. Like they've made some updates to like the dialogue and like things that NPCs can do, but if you really play the games back to back, if you play like Oblivion and then Skyrim and then Fallout, you see that they're very, very similar games. They're not very different. The NPCs are still just as dumb as they are in Oblivion as they are in Fallout 4. In fact, in some cases, in some ways, they're a little dumber. Like, so the NPCs in Morrowind are really dumb. But one of the things that I will say is that, like, so if you go talk to an NPC in Morrowind and you have your weapon out, they like you less because it comes off as threatening. So you have less affinity with them when you're talking to them with a weapon out. But if you put your weapon away, then they like you a little more because you're just normal grounds. You're talking to them like a normal person. They didn't ever escalate that and update it so that in like games like Morrowind, in games like Oblivion or Fallout 3 or, you know, whatever, if you walk into a town, and there are tons of videos showing this off. I'm not going to pull one up right now because I don't want somebody to get upset that I pulled their video up or whatever. because it'll just be some random video. But people have basically shown, like, even in Starfield, the latest game, you can walk in the middle of a city, you can take your gun out, point it at people, shoot it right next to their head. You can shoot it right next to a cop, and they don't care because they have no coding to make them do anything. They have no reactions. They don't make them feel alive. They haven't done anything to update that literally since Oblivion. I think that the closest they got, like I said, was Morrowind to, like, talking to people or whatever, but they immediately did away with that with the next games. So that's like just a huge disappointment. And I think they really need to focus on that. They need to focus on updating all of their systems, especially they're coming up on Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5. These are their two, like, big flagship title product, especially the Elder Scrolls. The Elder Scrolls is where they really need to update everything, and, like, this game needs to shine. This is their, like, bread and butter for Bethesda. They really need to knock this out of the park with the Elder Scrolls 6. So I think that's going to really be where we're going to see how much they're actually willing to start dedicating to updating all these things and putting more effort into their new games and all that stuff, other than, what we got with Starfield. Starfield is a game that I'm kind of like, I'm okay with knocking that off to the side. It's like, that was a new thing, new project. They wanted to try new stuff, and I really respect them for doing that with a new title instead of doing that with their, well-known established titles. Unlike Capcom, who tries every new trick, whatever they want to do with already existing titles and ends up destroying once amazing stories and things like that. Talk for another day. So on top of that, we want to see, like, the AI improvements, things like that. But what I was going to really harp on is back to what I was talking about with Tarkov. I want to see their weapon modification systems basically on par with Tarkov. I want to have tons of choices. I want to have tons of guns. And I want to be able to change them up however I want. Like, I want to be able to find an MCX. I want to go be able to find, like, any kind of AR. Or, well, I guess they could just make it simple and just have, like, the M4, the AR-15, whatever. Or literally just do that. Do AR-15, M4. One has, like, full auto and, whatever settings. You can set it back and forth. The other has just semi-auto. That's another thing that I want to see. I want to be able to have select fire. I don't want everything to just be one or the other. And then I have to go to the bench to be able to change it back and forth or, whatever. I also don't want it to drastically change how much the damage does if I set it to one or the other, because that's kind of frustrating. I know that sort of, I guess, made sense with, like, the laser rifle because it was changing a lot of the, like, stuff up on it, but for everything else that doesn't make sense, at least in Fallout 5. Fallout 76, that's kind of what I'm talking about because that's, like, the most recent one that I really played, like, a ton of. But they did that, and that was really annoying. And they also, I guess for the perk chart, I guess I can't really mention that as much, but at least for the base gun itself. So all right, for the perk chart, well, no, because then they'd have to change up others. I don't know. Figure that out how you want to do it. I'm just spitballing some ideas. You guys know how to make games. I just know how I want to play games and what I want to play with in the games. And what I want to play with is modern guns. Like I said earlier, I think I said it anyway in this. This is my second time recording this because I messed up the first one. I really, like, everybody really loves modern guns. It's like the most downloaded mods. If you go on YouTube, in fact, that's the one. I will take a scroll for that real quick. So just looking really quick, we already see this dude, modern Fallout 4. He's got an MCX. The gun that I really want to see. My favorite. This dude's got a Beretta here. That's just like a regular gun. This is a normal water gun. This is a HK Let's see what else can we find here. There's a lot of just like normal stuff because there's people playing on like console and stuff like that. And then I'm seeing like the random stuff that YouTube decides to show me that has no relevance to what I'm looking for some reason. Here's another one with ultra modded, and he's got an M4. Or actually, I think that's the gun from New Vegas with like the wood. Can't tell, it's dark. Some kind of light machine gun. Lucy's pistol. It's not a modern gun, but just like to see that. That's AI. Oh, wow. Anyway, you get the point. But yeah, so I really think that Fallout 5 needs to have modern guns. I think that they really need to focus on updating a lot of the systems that they have in their games so that they can do what I want to see with those firearms as well. Obviously, mechanically, there needs to be a lot of changes to be able to fit all those things, especially because, like, the upgrading crafting system is already pretty good. Like, it has a lot that you can change up on it already, if I remember correctly. It's close to Tarkov-ish already. It's Tarkov-esque, I'll say, almost. It's just not quite there yet. There's not as many choices. I guess I also am saying that I want more cosmetic choices, and I want there to be the difference as well between the cosmetic choices and the things that actually change how the weapon works. So like if I'm working on an AR-15, for example, the barrel length is going to change, how far I can shoot, the accuracy, things like that. But changing the handguard is going to have no effect on it. It's just going to have an effect of how it looks to me and how cool it looks to me and, things like that. I guess you could maybe throw in something like, heavier handguards, or, they have some effects on you versus lighter handguards, or, stuff like that. Whatever. That's cool. Tarkov has stuff like that. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just spitballing ideas about things that I really, really want to see in Fallout 5. I really, 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 really do not want to see orc guns in Fallout 5. If you put fucking orc guns in Fallout 5, I'm gonna lose my mind. Like, I'm actually gonna go crazy. I hate this. I hated this. I spent hours playing Fallout 4 when I worked overnight at, where was it? I think it was Albertsons at the time when I worked there, or what was it? That's what we're gonna say. It was an Albertsons. No, it was Kroger. That's what it was. And when I was working overnight at Kroger, all I had, that's all I was doing too. So I worked and I played video games, and I had nobody to talk to because I worked overnight. So all I did was play video games, and thank God Fallout 4 came out at a really good time for me, and I was able to, sink tons of hours into this. But I cannot tell you how often I would get disappointed or just frustrated by the fact that all I had to deal with was these stupid, dinky, freaking orc guns. Like, that's all I had. It sucked. I got a little happier when they finally released that DLC that did have the bunk AK. It was kind of like what's it called? It was bittersweet, but I was still really happy to have the AK at least, and I used the hell out of it after I got it. But man, slugging through everything with these stupid things was just a pain. I kind of liked this gun, but it was also really weird looking and really bulky. It's based off of a real gun, so like I give them credit for that. It's kind of cool looking, especially when you're using the power armor. I had a brain fart there for a second. It looks really good with the power armor, in my opinion, especially the T60s. And the laser rifle was cool, but other than that, like, everything else was kind of just like weird. The revolver was all right. The 10 millimeter was like, all right, that was a decently cool weapon. I liked that they added the double barrel shotgun, but it becomes completely obsolete after you get the other shotgun, the combat shotgun. At least in my opinion, I completely stopped using it. The Winchester was cool. The plasma pistols that the Institute had, the Institute pistols, whatever, those are okay, but they didn't have enough damage to make them like worthwhile. So once you picked them up, like especially after you had like a laser rifle or anything better, basically it was completely obsolete and just to sell or a dead, heavy weight in your pocket. I didn't ever use these things. They look ugly. I think I heard this is a good gun, but it's just so fuck ugly. I can't bring myself to use it. This thing was actually kind of cool looking. I liked the idea of a laser musket, kind of, but it was also really stupid because it's a single shot laser musket in the year, whatever, when there's all kinds of crazy stuff around like every corner. Having any kind of one shot weapon is just kind of goofy in my opinion. So, and it didn't, even if you like fully charged up, it just seemed to never do enough damage to make it like worthwhile. And then the hunting rifle is okay, I guess, but it's just like, it's just a basic hunting rifle, nothing special. God, what did they do to this thing? Ugh. See, I want to see more stuff like this, and like this, and like this. See, there's tons and tons and tons of pictures of people that modded it with modern guns to look basically like Tarkov. This is basically what people want to play. People want to play a Fallout with modern guns that feels really cool. Not these stupid freaking orc guns. Just I could end up just ranting about the orc guns all night. And I'm just going. If they add them in to Fallout 5, I hope it's just like a meme, like a joke that you can find somewhere. I'd be okay with that, I guess. Like there's some like a joke with like skeletons. I think that would be funny. But other than that, I really don't want to see the orc guns anymore, ever again. I really want to see a lot more modern guns. I want to see it in mass. And yeah, please right the wrongs that you've done. Also, please highly update all of your systems. Make everything flow a lot better. Make everything actually reactive and feel more alive in the world. Because that's what y'all are really trying to do with these games. Like, you made it so that we could make towns and settlements and all this stuff. So, if you're going to give us the opportunity to make these towns and things that are supposed to feel alive, then make them alive. Alright, that's all I got for this one. I do want to say I am running a giveaway for a $50 Steam gift card. If you want to check that out, go check the link in the description below. Other than that, I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one, guys. Bye.